Okay, so one more thing we need to talk about before we move into applying the epoxy and or color preservative to these wraps. So I want to show you something we're going to do on a whiteboard here. And this is really one of the benefits to you as a custom rod maker is being able to fine-tune the location of your guides before you put that epoxy in place. Yes, it is possible to repair a guide, relocate it after the epoxy is in place, but you're going to have to try to cut that off, and it's not a pretty process, and many people end up permanently scarring or weakening or breaking their rods as a result. So make sure that you are completely happy with straightness and placement of these guides before you start putting epoxy on here. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to do, some people refer to this as a deflection test. Call it whatever you want. This is, I'll call it, your final sanity check, before you start putting epoxy on here. You want to go ahead and put a reel on your rod and run some line up through these guides. Now you can do this by yourself using a piece of weight, or you can have a friend to help you. But anyways, go ahead and hold this rod. Start off with maybe a 45-degree angle, but experiment with different angles, and have your friend pull straight down, or you could use a weight if you're doing this by yourself, or tie it to something stationary and then lift the rod. You're just trying to examine what the line is doing as the rod is bending. And the reason you're doing this is you want to make sure that where you have chosen to place those guides is indeed where they need to go on that particular blank. Okay? If there is manufacturing irregularities in these rods, then in these blanks, say, maybe the printed documentation from the blank manufacturer isn't quite right because of the characteristics of where this rod is bending. And what you're looking for is really flat spots. You want to make sure that your line is pretty much tracking with the bend of the rod. Now, if you notice something, and you will, if there's something wrong here, it'll become very, very apparent. And what you'll see is, you'll see that maybe a couple of guides are spaced too far apart, and you'll notice that there's one very incongruous angle in here. It's flat while the others are pretty much tracking, and there'll be a gap here. So again, just go ahead and do this test for yourself, just to make sure you're happy with the way that line is going to behave based upon where you've placed your guides. And that's how you do a deflection test to verify where these guides are located. Now, some people are resistant to redoing a wrap or adding another guide and rearranging the guides a little bit, but let me tell you, it is really, really worth the effort to do it now, because you can consider once that epoxy goes on, your rod is complete, and it will always be that way. So take the time. If you need to redo a wrap, do it now. Take a razor, get that thread off there, redo it. Take your time and make the best rod you can. After all, you're building your own rods so that you can have something that you can be proud of. So take the time and build something you can be proud of.